Welcome back, Earth scientists. So welcome to your Lab 7 introduction video for topographic maps and contour lines. So I'm going to warn you, this is a long lab. It's 10 pages, and it's a lot of information, but once we work through it, it really creates a foundation for everything else that we'll be continuing through this semester. This is also the last lab before the midterm goes live. So make sure that we work through this diligently and that you make sure you cover all your context. So there's a lot of supplementary videos that have been posted to Canvas, as I know this is a lot of information. Some of you may have experiences with topographic maps, and this lab will be quite easy. Some people may not, so make sure you utilize all of those resources I've shared on Canvas. That being said, if you find additional resources that you think were helpful, please let me know, and I'll be glad to share them to the rest of the class. So the beginning of this lab is really reintroducing the idea of topographic maps and contour lines. So we begin first off with revisiting latitude and longitude, learning that the globe is broken up in a grid system of lines and meridians. So we find that latitude are circles that are drawn around the globe. Latitude goes north to south, but the lines are drawn going all the way around. Longitude are meridians, or half of great circles. They intersect at the north all the way down to the South Pole. So this content allows you to understand more of that. So go ahead and make sure you read through that as you answer those first couple questions. Once you do that, page 2 allows you to practice looking at latitude and longitude. So as an example, where my mouse is pointed now, if I asked you what the coordinates of that would be, the answer would be 30 degrees south and 120 degrees east. So you'll learn how to utilize a very simplistic grid system. As we move forward, we'll also introduce the Public Land Survey, which is another grid system that the Earth has. Again, there's videos on Canvas to help you with this. Make sure you read through the content, but the idea is that most property was divvied up into 40-acre parcels, which is this little box right here. So the way that we would do this is kind of like when people ask where you live. You go, well, I live in Val Verde. Well, where's Val Verde? Well, Val Verde is part of the larger unincorporated Los Angeles. Well, where's that? You go, well, unincorporated Los Angeles is North Los Angeles, which is then part of Southern California. So you kind of work your way through this whole sequence. So you start from 40 acres and you work your way up to a box that measures 36 square miles. So it's kind of interesting in how that's broken down. Who is credited with this system? I know this number is wrong, I'm sorry, but it's actually Thomas Jefferson. He's the one who created the Public Land Survey. So you'll be able to work through this. I gave you an example for letter J. So you always work in the smallest quadrant, work your way out. So J out of these 4 is in the southwest box, southwest. Then you look in the bigger quadrant. It's in the northeast quadrant. J is in box number 1, 2, 3, section number 4. And looking at this big Excel spreadsheet, J is part of 2 north and 4 east. That's how I got those answers there. Once you learn that, then we get back into drawing topographic maps. So we learn a little bit about topographic maps and how we have contour lines. How contour lines are not necessarily painted on the surface, but they do have a value. So if I'm standing here and you're standing on this side of the island on that same point, we are the same elevation above the sea level. So contour lines never cross, never go up, go down, they remain constant. Moving forward, we'll learn how to use these elevation points to make a map. So I drew the first dots for you, so you'll go ahead and trace those dots there. Make sure you read through this. There's also a video on Canvas to kind of reiterate this. But what we're going to be doing is drawing a topographic map. So what ends up happening is these are all elevation points, and our job is to connect the points. Well, the only problem is we can't connect points if numbers aren't there, so we have to add numbers. So what I do first, as I did for elevation number 40, is I put a dot on all the 40s. Then I said, well, I want to connect this 40 to that 40. How can I get there? Well, I can see that this is 38, 39, 40 must be somewhere in between, so I can draw my line. Moving forward, where's the other 40s that are on this map? Well, I don't see any, but I know that 38, 39, 40 must be somewhere here. These numbers are too small, so my line must go back down this way, and you start to figure out mathematically where these numbers belong. So you'll do that for 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, and 10. You'll actually learn that this map is divvied up in half. There's one mountain here and a little one here. So I'm using my mouse right here. I'm going to draw one of the 10 contour lines. This line starts here with a 10 and works its way all the way across like this. What that will represent is actually, if you do the second one, you'll see that they kind of parallel each other until they get separate up in here. That's actually a river system. So it goes from 10s all the way down to the 8s. So you have a river that flows this direction. So you have a river that runs here, you have a big mountain range here, and a small peak up here. So then you'll learn how to make a topographic map. Another thing we'll look at is topographic profiles, meaning that if this is my map looking down, if I want to, see what it looked like from across, what would it look like? So I think of these as layers of cake. So you see this layer goes all the way around. So this has one, then there's two, there's three dominant layers that wrap all the way around. Then there's just one, a cupcake. And then here there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. So there's one cupcake on this side, but 4 stacked on this side. This one best matches letter B. So you'll go ahead and match the profiles, the topographic maps with the profiles. Then we'll learn how to make a profile. There's a video as well on Canvas how to do this. Here is an example. Here is the topographic map you're drawing. You're going to draw from here to there, and you want to bring this information down to here so I can see what it would look like if you were walking across that line. Again, there are instructions here and a video to help. This last activity is actually then using a topographic map. So in Canvas, underneath this lab, there's a link that makes you pop up this image. This is a map of Lone Pine, California, where the field trips normally go. It is a JPEG, so you can zoom in quite a bit, and the quality is quite good. So we'll zoom back out again. But anyway, you'll be utilizing this map. You see these big boxes, these numbered boxes? I'll zoom in again to show you. So this is box number 13. That's section number 13 from Township and Range. In fact, if we, zoom out again. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to get here. If you'll notice right here on your map, I can't zoom in too far because it's distorting it. You can see this has range 36 east. So we'll see there's ranges on the top and townships along the sides. So anyway, nonetheless, you're going to utilize this topographic map to solve all the questions on this lab. So here we are. You'll work through this portion. Again, this is having you look at the collar of the map, which is the perimeter of the map, looking at some of the dates in the bottom left-hand corner, looking for the townships, looking for the ranges, looking for elevations. Well, where would you find elevations? Well, it's actually kind of fun. So we know that the closer the contour lines are together, the larger the topography or the steeper the mountains. So there must be a mountain here, there's mountains here, and a really tall mountain here. So if I move my map out this way and I zoom in real close so you can get an idea. This, that's kind of blurry, that's a 4,800 elevation mark. So I need to find a number that's higher. So usually your highest elevations on mountains are marked like this using a black number, a benchmark 4491. Your lowest elevations will be on a brown line. So it's a little bit longer of a lab, a little more time consuming, so make sure you get a head start on it, but that's pretty much it. Once you've completed, go ahead, submit to Canvas as a PDF, and then you're prepared for the midterm exam. Good luck, and we'll talk soon.